Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, back again with another project for you, and this time it's a quick card using the lovely, very vintage host set. So I'm focusing on that this week, and you'll see it's got some lovely vintage floral images along with some super sentiments and some lovely little accents like the bee and the little shape which coordinates with the new punch in a tin. And I'm also using the Tranquil Textures DSP, which has got some really nice kind of, again, sort of shabby kind of images on it, and I just thought I'd play around a bit with some colour combinations with the in colours that we've got at the moment. So that's the card we're going to make. So I'm starting off with a card base which I've made out of thick Whisper White, and I've cut that to 11.5 by 4 inches and scored it at 5 3/4 to create our tent card base. And once I've done that, I've then created a panel which is just 1/8 of an inch smaller than that. And to try and save on card width, I want to show you how I gut card. So this is 3 7/8 by 5 5/8, and what I'm going to do is to just line that up with the 3/4 of an inch 2 centimetre mark and cut from 3/4 to 3/4 from the bottom. And you don't have to be massively precise, it's about 2 centimetres. But what that will do is give you an extra little panel which you can use on another project or for your accents, and it just creates a little frame for you, and that means that when you put it onto your card, that will be covered up by your central panel, so nobody will know that that's missing from the middle there, and you've actually saved on your card. So that's just a little cardstock saving tip for you. So all I'm going to do is just attach that to the frame. Now again, I always try and remember to open out my card flat before I attach the layer to it. It just helps you line that up. Okay, so just a nice narrow border on that. I've then cut some DSP, again 1/8 of an inch smaller. So this is 5.5 by 3 3/4. And I'm using the reverse of the paper I used in my original one. So this is the first side and that's the reverse of it. So again, I just happen to have my fuse to hand. It doesn't need fuse, you could just use tear and tape or your snail for this as well. But my snail has just given up the ghost and I'm waiting for my refills to arrive. So there you go. So as I said, you wouldn't know that there was anything missing from the centre there. So there's your card base. Then we come on to the panel that we're going to use. Now I've cut some Tranquil Tide, and this card is 3 by 4 inches. Let me just double check that. Okay, it's 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. And the card then obviously is just slightly smaller. So the Whisper White panel is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I started off with that as the card base. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this in some mint macaron, just to give a nice sort of light effect, and just pick up the colour that's in the background there. So mint macaron pads, these are the new ones, they just flip open and slide. And I just realised that I haven't cleaned my stamp from a moment ago when I did my stamp. So I'm just going to use my Stampin scrub. This is the wet side that I've sprayed with Stampin Mist, and then I can use the dry side, and that means that my image is lovely and dry and ready to be used on an ink pad straight away. So I'm just going to tap that ink pad all over and then just line and gently press. So there's our mint macaron stamped image, and again we can just layer that up onto our cardstock using whatever glue you prefer or you happen to have handy. And again, I've gone for these really narrow borders. I do vary it. Sometimes I use 1/4 of an inch, sometimes I use 1/8 of an inch, just depends how I feel. And then we're just going to attach this to the front of our card using some Stampin' dimensionals. And as I always say to the ladies in my class, thing to remember with Stampin' dimensionals, they are great. You don't need loads of them. I usually put one in each of the corners and one in the middle. That provides it with plenty of support. So that panel can then go into the corner there. But before we do that, I'm going to create those strips to go across. And I've just cut some 1 centimetre, so sort of just about 1/2 inch strips of Tranquil Tide. And this is the same stamp set. I do try and keep the stamp sets I use to a minimum, so that just line that up. I've possibly cut that a little bit narrow actually. There we go. And it's this beautiful sort of bluey green which picks up the colour in the stamp that we've got. And then while I've got my ink pad out, I'm just going to stamp the sentiment, Happy Birthday, in some Tranquil Tide on a scrap of Whisper White. And then we can pop the ink pad away to one side. And all I'm going to do now is just follow the angle of the stamps and do that at both ends. And on this one, I then make that one a little bit shorter, just to give a... And I say I haven't measured those. I kind of, well, they're about sort of 8 centimetres, so that's about sort of just over 3 inches. And this one's slightly shorter. I'm then going to use our classic label punch, and that just fits perfectly in there as a Happy Birthday. And on its own, it kind of looks a little bit lonely. So I'm just going to add a little layer again of Tranquil Tide. So I'm just going to punch one of the same out of some Tranquil Tide cardstock. Then all you need to do is just snip that in half and then add a little glue to create our layer, and just line, because it's a nice straight one, you can just line that up really, really easily. So again, try not to get yourself attached to it, as I seem to be doing here. Okay, so there's our little sort of chevron to go on there. And then all that we need to do is pop our panel on the front, like so. So I'm just lining it up to create an equal border top and left. Add our, not our dimensional backings, that wouldn't look particularly attractive. Add our little stripe, just centre that underneath, and then bring this one off. I'm going to just pop that like so. I'm just doing that really by eye, and then all I'm going to do is use a little bit of my dimensionals that I've got here, a couple of half ones, to add to the back of that. Then all that's left to do is either decorate the envelope or decorate the inside of the card and add your sentiment, if you want to add something else or whatever you want to say to somebody. There's my Happy Birthday, and on the inside what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the Tranquil Tide again, and I'm just going to use a sort of corner of it. So a bit of scrap paper, and then that bottom corner just going to hover over and add to it, and again I'm turning my paper so I don't put that up down on any wet ink, and in the top corner just again add some of the same flowers. So there you have a pair of lovely host set cards, perfect to have on hand for a Happy Birthday. Which do you prefer? Either the contrast with the fresh fig or the tone on tone we've got with Tranquil Tide and Mint Macaron? Choice is yours. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and you'll come back and see me again soon for more projects using this lovely stamp set. And if you'd like to get this stamp set, all you need to do is spend £150 in my Stampin' Up shop, and you can then use your Stampin' rewards to purchase this very reasonably at a reduced price to normal, and that's the only way you can get it. You can't get it by purchasing. I can't give it to you unless you've used your Stampin' rewards to obtain it yourself. So there we go. Thanks for watching. Don't hesitate to give me a call if you need any advice or information, and visit my Stampin' Up shop, heidismith.stampinup.net, or my blog, flutterbyheidi.co.uk. Follow the links to my shop there. Thanks for watching. Bye now.